Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if this is your first time, please do not forget to like and subscribe. My name is Ademola Badmus, and in this video we will be talking about writing our first test scripts for Selenium. In the previous video we have imported Selenium using the Maven dependency approach, and I have explained how that works. So let's get right to it. I want to make the video as short as possible so you don't get bored. So like I said in the previous video, we'll be working inside the main folder. I have explained the structure of the Maven project to you. So we are going to be working from the main folder. So inside the main folder, we are going to create a package as usual. I've also explained that in the previous video. So I recommend that you watch the previous videos. So in this, we will have a package called, let's call it first Selenium. Do not forget that you have to use small letters, small cases. So first Selenium, all right. And in this package, we would have a Java class. So let's call this class the first, right? For lack of better name. Um, yep. So we have this. So remember that I told you that when you write a class, a main method is needed for that class to run. And I did tell you in the last video that we are going to be running everything from here at first. Okay? Then later on, we move into another approach of running our tests. So let's do that. Okay? So let's first create our main method. So we have our main method all created, and let's just create a simple method to help us launch the page. Let's call it start session. All right. So what do we need in order to run the page? We need a WebDriver in order to run the page. So we are going to call in a WebDriver. So as usual, we can use the IntelliJ shortcuts to fix issues. So we can import the WebDriver, and there we have the WebDriver running. So because we have already assigned our Chrome driver to path, because we have already set it to path, we can easily get our Chrome driver. Remember that in the previous videos I've told you about WebDriver managers that Chrome driver is not the only one. We have a Gecko driver, we have the one for Edge, we have that for Opera, and Internet Explorer as well. So but for the purpose of the lesson, we are using just Chrome driver. So in order to use the Chrome driver now, we can say driver equals new Chrome driver. Okay. So this way, we have our Chrome driver instantiated. So it means we have an instance of an actual browser. Okay, that is the exact meaning of what we've just done. We have an instance of an actual browser working for us, so we can control and pass instructions into it. So the first thing we want to do is just um, navigate to a URL. Okay, we did mention that we are going to be using this site. Okay, let's just jump to the login page. So okay, So we are going to be using the login page for this site for our automation purpose. So that is where we are going to go to, and we have this. So let's quickly test and see if what we've done will work. So in order for that to work, remember how we instantiate. So we are going to instantiate this class first as first. It's easier to get a name that way, so I don't need to worry about another variable I need to instantiate. So I've instantiated the main class, the main class that we created. I've instantiated it inside the main method. So the next thing now is we need to run we want to run the method that has been created into it, which is start session. Okay, so let's run this main class right now and see the result. As you can see, it is building. So remember in one of the videos, I've already told you that Java is a compiling language. So it compiles your code and runs it after and it passes it, and then it runs it runs the result for you. So now it has finished building and now it's about to run. I expect that it will launch Chrome for us. As you can see, it has launched the Chrome page for us, and there you go. I am not pressing anything, it is just navigating to the site itself, and it has done this successfully. So this is our first introduction to automation using Selenium and Java, and we've been able to successfully launch a page. Now, you do realize that the page that was launched was not big enough, was small, so we can expand that to fit the screen by doing this driver dot manage dot dot. You can maximize it, or you can put it to your full screen, or you can probably just put a dimension size into it. So with that being said, let's just use the maximize feature. Let us run it again. I can either right click on it, or I can come here to play, or I can come here to run it. I can as well go here and click run. So I've shown you 4 ways you can run it from your IntelliJ IDE. There, as we move on, we will also visit other ways that you can use to execute your code. So let's see this and see what happens. Yep, it's about to start running, and it will launch the Chrome browser for us. And there you go. Launches the site, and wait for it to maximize the page. Yeah, it has maximized the page for us. So what this essentially does is that you might have some tests run on some pages that are not they change position, and they change the structure when the page is not fully maximized, which might cause you some errors. So you can maximize the page and work properly on those type of sites. So that is one of the things that you should also notice. And if you do notice, I don't know if you've tried other videos before, but in my experience, while I was when I started learning, I used to engage in a practice where I will put the web driver, whichever one I'm using, whether it's a Gecko driver, whether it's a Chrome driver, I will create a directory inside the project, and I will save it there. Then I will reference it using the system.set property. But that is bad. That is a very bad practice. It is a bad practice because the explanation might not really make much sense to you, but please follow along, because it is not a good practice. Because when you get into your pipeline, that is your CI/CD environment, you have created an avenue to make your code become mechanical. Because when you need to change the version of your Chrome driver, you will need to always pull your code, update the version, and put it back into it. That is even if you get a successful way to reference that driver inside the pipeline, because in the pipeline it's a different thing entirely. It's like a code agnostic environment that just needs to interact with your code by understanding the language that your code is executed in, and using that same language to install all the dependencies needed. So instead of doing this, you can set your Chrome to path, and in your pipeline, when you're deploying to pipeline, that you can instruct the pipeline to always download the latest version of your WebDriver and unzip it and set it to path. So your code will always would always work continuously without having to worry about downloading a new Chrome driver and updating your code every time, which is good. It brings about some a level of seamlessness into your code, and to me, I feel that's a win. So usually I feel the best practice is going to be that. In the next video, we will actually automate a full process of logging in successfully. And in that video, I will like to also say that I will be moving on with best practices. So you will not see things like thread.sleep. I will be avoiding using thread.sleep, because what thread.sleep actually do to your code is basically it add codes wait times into your code. When you use a thread.sleep, let's say you say 5 seconds, it means whether or not the event you actually want to wait for has happened on the first second, your code will still wait 5 seconds, which means you've added extra 4 seconds into your code. And if you continue to use a thread.sleep like that, it means you're adding extra times, and it is a very, 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 pardon the English, it is a poor practice. So you should avoid something like that.